Welcome to IQD Dinar News, your go-to source for the latest updates on currency exchange rates, revaluation news, and insights into the Iraqi dinar. Stay informed and ahead of the curve with our timely analysis and breaking developments. The concept of a floating exchange rate is an essential aspect of modern monetary systems, particularly when discussing currency valuation and economic reforms. When a new exchange rate is introduced, it often implies a shift from a fixed or pegged system to a more flexible one. This transition allows the currency to float freely in the market, responding to supply and demand dynamics, which ultimately leads to a more accurate representation of its value against other currencies. This mechanism can be crucial for a country experiencing economic reforms, as it reflects real-world conditions and can enhance monetary policy effectiveness. At its core, the idea of a floating exchange rate suggests that the currency's value will be determined by the market forces. In contrast to a fixed exchange rate, where the government or central bank sets the value, a floating exchange rate allows the currency to fluctuate freely based on market conditions. This flexibility can be advantageous, particularly during times of economic instability or reform, as it enables the currency to adjust in response to economic fundamentals, such as inflation rates, interest rates, and overall economic performance. In the context of monetary reform, the introduction of a floating exchange rate can be seen as a critical step toward achieving a more effective and stable monetary system. For instance, if a country has been operating under a fixed exchange rate regime, the RIA takes into account the relative strength of a currency against a basket of other currencies, adjusted for inflation differentials. This measure provides a comprehensive view of a currency's competitiveness and purchasing power. When a new exchange rate is introduced and allowed to float, it is expected to converge toward the RIA over time. This convergence is crucial because it means that the currency's value is aligning with the underlying economic fundamentals, enhancing the country's competitive position in the global market. As a result, the potential benefits of floating exchange rates and the pursuit of a real effective exchange rate can be manifold. Firstly, a floating exchange rate can help stabilize the economy by reducing volatility associated with fixed exchange rate regimes. There is a need for increased awareness and understanding of how exchange rates function, their impact on trade, inflation, and investment. This education is crucial for various stakeholders, including policymakers, businesses, and the general public. Understanding how exchange rates work empowers individuals and organizations to navigate the complexities of a floating system and make informed decisions regarding foreign trade, investment strategies, and financial planning. Additionally, monetary reform education can foster a culture of transparency and accountability. As citizens become more knowledgeable about economic policies and their implications, they can hold their governments accountable for managing monetary policy effectively. This accountability can lead to improved governance and more responsible fiscal and monetary policies, further enhancing economic stability and growth. Another important aspect of floating exchange rates is the impact on inflation and interest rates. A floating currency can help mitigate inflationary pressures by allowing the currency to appreciate or depreciate in response to inflation differentials. When a country experiences higher inflation than its trading partners, a floating exchange rate can lead to currency depreciation, making exports more competitive while increasing the cost of imports. This adjustment can help restore balance to the economy and control inflationary pressures, promoting overall economic stability. Interest rates also play a critical role in this dynamic. When a currency floats, central banks have more flexibility in adjusting interest rates based on economic conditions. This flexibility can lead to more effective monetary policy, as central banks can respond to changing economic circumstances without being constrained by the need to maintain a fixed exchange rate. By adjusting interest rates in response to inflation, growth, and other economic indicators, central banks can help ensure a stable and conducive environment for investment and economic growth. Furthermore, the benefits of floating exchange rates extend to international trade. A floating exchange rate can enhance competitiveness by allowing currencies to adjust to changes in global demand and supply. When a country's currency appreciates, its exports may become more expensive, potentially leading to a decline in export volumes. Conversely, if the currency depreciates, exports may become more attractive to foreign buyers, potentially boosting export growth. This flexibility can help balance trade deficits and surpluses, contributing to a more stable and sustainable trade environment. In addition to these economic considerations, the floating exchange rate system can also impact foreign direct investment, FDI. Investors are often attracted to stable economic environments with predictable exchange rate policies. By adopting a floating exchange rate, countries can signal their commitment to market-oriented reforms and economic liberalization. This can attract foreign investment, as investors seek opportunities in countries that offer a transparent and responsive monetary system. Increased FDI can lead to job creation, technology transfer, and overall economic growth, further enhancing the positive impact of floating exchange rates. Moreover, the introduction of a floating exchange rate can encourage domestic businesses to become more competitive. As businesses face the realities of a floating currency, they must adapt to changing market conditions and find ways to improve efficiency and productivity. This competition can lead to innovation and growth, as companies strive to enhance their competitiveness in both domestic and international markets. By fostering a culture of innovation and competitiveness, a floating exchange rate can contribute to long-term economic development. However, it is essential to acknowledge that transitioning to a floating exchange rate system is not without challenges. Countries may face volatility and uncertainty during the initial phases of this transition, as market participants adjust to the new regime. Fluctuations in the currency value can lead to short-term disruptions in trade and investment, requiring policymakers to implement measures to mitigate these effects. Effective communication and transparency during this transition period are crucial to instilling confidence among businesses and consumers. Moreover, policymakers must be prepared to manage the potential risks associated with a floating exchange rate. Currency speculation and sudden shifts in investor sentiment can lead to sharp fluctuations in the currency value, impacting economic stability. Central banks may need to intervene in the foreign exchange market to prevent excessive volatility and maintain confidence in the currency. This requires a delicate balance between allowing the currency to float freely and taking necessary measures to ensure stability. In summary, the introduction of a floating exchange rate represents a significant shift in a country's monetary policy framework. It allows for a more accurate reflection of currency values based on market dynamics, contributing to the overall effectiveness of monetary reforms. As the currency floats and approaches the real effective exchange rate, the economy can benefit from enhanced stability, competitiveness, and transparency. This transition also provides an opportunity for monetary reform education, empowering stakeholders to understand the complexities of exchange rates and their implications for the economy. Ultimately, the successful implementation of a floating exchange rate system hinges on effective communication, sound economic policies, and a commitment to transparency and accountability. By navigating the challenges and embracing the opportunities presented by a floating exchange rate, countries can foster a more robust and resilient economy that is better equipped to thrive in an increasingly interconnected global marketplace. Thanks for tuning in to IQD Dinar News. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. For more updates on the Iraqi dinar and global currency trends, hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.